about another minute to also allow everyone to trickle in.
Okay.
So there we are. We are live on Facebook. Today we have Dr. Anna J. Stid joining us on the topic of nervous system self-regulation hack, transforming your triggers into treasures in 2 minutes. So excited to hear about that. I don't know about everybody here, but getting dysregulated, off kilter, imbalance is a thing that we all find ourselves in. Maybe I would say probably multiple times, if not many times throughout the day. We all have triggers, and without knowing, a lot of times we're unconscious. Not a lot of times, instead of speaking as an adult, our inner child is taking control of the wheel and is in an imbalanced state, responding and reacting through imbalance, through trauma. And so today we have an expert that will help us reel ourselves back into a balanced, healthy, neutral state to be able to react, respond from our adult versions of ourselves, our healed versions of ourselves, our neutral versions of ourselves. So welcome, Dr. Anna Stid. We're gonna go ahead and give it about another minute or so. Then I'm gonna invite everyone to join us on a short meditation just to help us arrive here today to release all the things that are on our mind, because I'm sure, it's 6 o'clock. It's been a long day. We've had a lot of things happen through today. We may be happy or not happy because of what happened yesterday. And really, this is just a place to let all that go. This is a place of expression. This is a place of healing. And our intention here, in fact, is to heal. And I really feel that we are medicine for each other. So our presence alone here, our comments, our being here, is a collective healing. So welcome everyone here. Welcome Anna, welcome Tracy, welcome Josh, welcome Cozy. Appreciate you guys being here. Um, let's get started with a short meditation. If you are driving, I would invite you to not close your eyes, but if you're in a safe place where you can close your eyes, I welcome you to do so. And close your eyes, take a deep breath, hold it, embrace yourself, release the breath, and say, I love you.
Mm,
Take another deep breath, hold it, release the breath, and say, I accept you. Take another deep breath, hold it, release the breath, and say, I'm doing the best I can. Open your eyes and arrive right here, right now, knowing that this is your time that you're investing for your own well-being. Good for you. How delicious that you have the luxury to invest in your health, in your own healthcare, in your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, your physical health, because it's all connected. So tonight, I'm excited to announce that we have Dr. Anna J. Stid talking about the subject, nervous system self-regulation hack, transforming your triggers into treasures in 2 minutes. She will be guiding us on how to regulate our nervous system. What a timely subject. A lot of us might be dysregulated right now. Um, some of us might be regulated, but this is really the space where we're gonna be equipped with tools that we'll be able to take away, that we'll be able to practice in our daily lives to get to an all is well, calm, tranquil, peaceful state where we're our best versions, where we're in this state, not when we're like going a million miles an hour, defragmented here and there and everywhere, and not here present. So that's the topic for today, a little bit about Dr. Anna Stid. She is the owner of Desert Colibri Chiropractic. Am I pronouncing that correct? Oh, can't hear you.
Colibri.
Colibri, there you go. I apologize.
Yes. And it's Anna.
Dr. Stid, Anna, she has been in the she's a holistic trained chiropractor for the last 20 plus years. She has helped thousands of people from untouchables in India to billionaire jet-setting CEOs. Her mission is always to, and I quote her, make a difference for those who are making a difference to uplift humanity. She has had a practice in the San Francisco Bay Area in San Francisco, and she now practices in Sedona, Arizona. She loves to travel the world and has traveled to 30 plus countries and counting. She is also a lover of nature, hiking, dancing, and cooking. Welcome, Anna. Anna. Uh,
Thank you, Noe. It's nice to be back on here again. So thank you for having me. And thank you for inviting me to speak with you and have these healing conversations. I actually specifically chose tonight because I knew it was going to be the day after, the election. And I know that it's probably one of the most polarizing elections that we've had to date. And our country has been divided on these topics for a while. And so I wanted to offer a gift to everyone here listening, either now or in the future, and give you a beautiful biohack to help you just self-regulate your nervous system, whether you're elated or devastated. And as everyone knows, that could all flip on a dime tomorrow, a week from now, a month from now. So everyone knows that could all flip on a dime.
oh, sorry.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, got it. And so I just wanted to offer something that can just really help you to come back to your center and feel grounded, feel more at ease and more peaceful. Now it's not the solution, it's not the end all be all. We all have to do the work that we have to do. However, a lot of times when we get triggered, what happens is that our higher cortex brain, which is here in the frontal lobe of our head, this is the area of our brain that's the problem solving, the solution creating, the innovative, the think outside the box place. So whenever we're triggered, that literally gets hijacked and you really don't have access to cognitive, um, being able to connect to those higher mental places in our brain. And that has to do with like literally millions and millions and millions of years of evolution um, for survival. And so when we're triggered, then basically then our amygdala part of our brain, our critter brain, basically takes over. And so you can kind of think of it as the higher brain is the one that responds, and the critter brain is the one that reacts. And there's a time and place for both. And you're like, why would that be helpful to react? Well, I'm going to give you an example. If you're on your phone, right? All of us do this, right? We're on our phone. We're not really paying attention. We're kind of paying attention to what's going on around us, but we're not really paying attention. And you're walking and you can see that the light's going to change and you're kind of waiting with everyone and you're about to cross the street. But you're still paying attention more to your phone than what's going on, right? Well, your cortex brain is really paying attention to what's on the phone, but your subconscious or your amygdala brain is paying attention to literally everything around it, all the colors, all the motion, all the movement, everything. And so, all of us have done that where we've been driving and we just sort of check out, but yet we're still driving and we still got to where we're going, but we had no idea how we got there. Well, that's because your subconscious amygdala brain took over and drove for you to get you safely there. And so to go back to that example, is that you're on your phone, you're about to step off the curb, but you're not really paying attention to that. But there's a bus that's turning the corner right as you're about to cross over, and all of a sudden you you jerk back because otherwise you were just about to become a flat pancake. So this is how our, our amygdala brain part of us that reacts really is there in to protect us and to keep us safe and to keep us alive. So there's many ways to get triggered, and so I'm gonna offer a couple of different examples that I wanted to put into place, and why, you know, obviously we're not running away from any bears or tigers or lions. We tend to be running away more from emails, calls from the boss, or clients, um, or these types of things. And also, we have so much information coming at us all the time, including the media. And so it's really good to have things in place or exercises that you can go to whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, right? So the way that, trigger can show up is many different ways. You can have like a place where you want to argue and fight and react. You can also like run away and like leave the conversation, and that's flight. And then another way that we can do that is to freeze, where we just like we don't feel any emotion at all. Or fawn, which means to people please, even at our own expense. And so, kind of utilizing all of these ways that the triggered response can carry through, and pretty much hijack our day or our ability to advocate for ourselves or our well-being. And so I want to offer a couple of exercises that literally is going to take 2 minutes. And it's based in the Chinese acupuncture meridian system. So right here underneath your thumb pad, yeah, like this, where your pulse points are, right here underneath your thumb. So if you can take your pulse and you can check your fever, then you can do this exercise. And we're going to do those at the same time. Okay. And so I'm going to just show you how to do the exercise, and then I'm going to go through a little exercise and some triggering words, and it's going to go from really light and almost non-triggering or neutral, and then it's going to get more and more triggering, okay? So that we can really pull this up. But I'm going to show you how to do the exercise first. So it's really easy. And it's called the FAST technique. It's called the first aid stress technique. And it comes out of the technique that I offer my patients and clients, which is called neuro-emotional technique. And so I want to say right off the bat that it's not there to really deal with the deeper neurological programs and deeper, healing that needs to take place. And I want to say that it offers an opportunity to basically stop the bleeding, right? It's not going to heal the wound, but it will stop the bleeding, if you will. Okay. Okay. So how it goes is this. So you've got your pulse points right here, and you also have the part on your thumb pad right here. Okay. And you're going to do that on both sides. So this side right here, this is my right hand. So I'm going to do a mirror to you guys. So if this is your right hand, then you're going to have what's called fire, earth, and water are going to be on that side. Okay. And so, and on this side, the left side, you're going to have water, wood, and fire. And just to give you an idea that each of these elements, they correlate with different organ systems in your body. And they also correlate with specific emotions that you carry that may be charged up and get you triggered. So for example, fire can be associated with feelings of being abandoned or vulnerable. Wood can be associated with feeling angry or frustrated. Water can be associated with feeling scared or afraid, and metal can be associated with feeling sad or unhappy, and earth is connected to feeling worried or hopeless. And so I know I bet a few of those emotions are up for people today. Okay. Okay. So it doesn't matter what hand you start with, you can choose which one. We're going to do both sides. So what you're going to do is going to take one of those hands and you're going to flip it towards you like this. And then you're going to take the palm of your other hand and just go around the back. And so you're going to wrap your fingers around. And so it's going to look like this. So you've got those 3 fingers here on the pulse points, right underneath the thumb, right in this area, like this. And then you're going to have your index finger right here on your thumb pad, okay? And so it's going to look like this, okay? And so what you basically just did is you hooked up all of those pulse points that connect to those different elements and to the different emotions and the different organ systems. And then the second place that we're going to contact is right here across the middle of your forehead between your eyebrows and your hairline. And what that's going to do is that's going to connect up to the stress points in your brain. Okay, so you're just going to go like this. Okay, awesome. And so the other thing I want to show you one more time is that we're gonna be touching your body in 2 different modes. Okay, so light mode is just literally just touching it really lightly, not pressing, but just touching, and that's going to be light. And then you can press in a little bit like you're checking for your pulse, and that's going to be deep. Okay, so here's light and there's deep. Okay, so again, you're going to wrap around, face your hand towards you, wrap your fingers this way. Okay, and then you're going to turn 90 degrees here, and then you're going to just touch lightly. And so we have one more thing that you need to, 2 more things that you're going to need to do. And one is you're going to nod your head forward. And what that's going to do is it's going to take out your cortex thinking brain and go right into the deeper recesses of the mammillary and amygdala brain where you got triggered. And then you're going to take deep, deep breaths. So let's just take a few deep breaths together. I recommend breathing in your nose and then out your mouth. Let's just do that 2 or 3 times. Good. Breathing in your nose and then out your mouth. And breathe in your nose and then out your mouth. Good. And then you're going to press a little deeper now so you can almost feel your pulses. And you're going to breathe in your nose and then out your mouth. And breathe in your nose and out your mouth. And again, breathing in your nose and then out your mouth. Cool. So I'm going to just let that be your little warm up. Because now we're going to move it into a little bit of a meatier part of the practice. And I'm going to say a few words to hopefully inspire some triggers in you. And I'm going to start off very neutral and I'm going to work my way down to some really triggering words. Okay. So this is purposely meant to elicit a trigger inside of you. And if none of this really applies to you, don't worry. I'm sure you can think of in the last week or the last few days of something that someone said either at work or home or wherever that was triggering. And you can just utilize that trigger in this exercise to help self-regulate and create a new dynamic between the brain and the body. Does that sound good? Okay, cool. All right, so I'm just going to start off with a very kind of working from like a neutral to slightly triggering, and then hopefully I'm going to go down to the most polarizing and triggering words that we have so far that probably 50% of the population is feeling. Okay. All right, so the first words are dark and light, night and day, peanut butter or nut butter and jelly. So basically what I'm showing you is like, okay, here's 2 opposite words, but maybe you feel really neutral about that, right? Well, that's how we want to feel when we transform our trigger into our treasure, we want to have the same kind of feeling when you hear night and day, or summer and winter, or spring and fall, as you would hear as we go down the list. Okay. Another one is dog and cat. Now we're gonna up the game a little bit, and we're gonna climb up the list of trigger, and we're gonna go male, female, non-binary, black, white, religious, spiritual, atheist, pro-vaccine, anti-vaccine, guns, gun control, anti-abortion, pro-abortion, climate change, geoengineering, Democrat, Republican, Donald Trump, Kamala Harris. Okay. Oh, I think we lost Noe. So basically all of those were to help elicit some kind of trigger response, so that now we can do this exercise so you can see and feel the difference between the before and the after. Okay, so let's go ahead to the other side and think about something that triggered you either today or the last few days. And again, you're gonna just reach around into those 3 places and the thumb, and just put your head across there. And so I just want you to feel the feelings that came up, whether they're anger, hopelessness, sadness, feeling like deserted or abandoned or vulnerable, grief, all of the things. Just breathe into those feelings. So just elicit those feelings, bring them up, and then you're going to breathe into them. So we're going to start off with a light touch and take a few breaths. Breathe deep into the belly, breathing in your nose and out your mouth. So now you're going to switch to a little deeper touch. You're going to press into those places and breathe in your nose and out your mouth. Good. Now we're going to switch sides. So whatever hand you didn't do, you're just going to use that hand and switch over. And again, we're going to go really light at first. So you're just going to touch here. Yeah. And then hand across the forehead. And you're going to nod your head forward and take a nice deep breath in your nose. And then out your mouth. And again, just think about the thing that really triggered you. Maybe it was some of the words that I said. Maybe it's just the events from the past few days. Maybe it's something that happened in your life. Whatever that is, just utilize it as a way to do this exercise. And keep breathing in your nose. Deep belly breath and out your mouth. And for extra credit, if you can breathe out and with a sigh, that helps to move it even more. Just like that. Let's go a little deeper now with a touch. Big breath in. Good. So you may notice that one side feels more palliative or more comforting and relaxing than the other. So you can go back to that side and do more of that side. Also, if you didn't feel much, maybe we possibly didn't really do it long enough for the trigger to go away. So you would just do it again on both sides, doing the light and the deep touch, and then do it for longer. Whether, try 30 seconds light and then 30 seconds deep, and then same thing on the other side. That way you just cover all of your bases. And so this is just a really easy thing that you can do. You can do that. Obviously, you don't want to do it while you're driving. You can do it just about anywhere, like in the grocery line, uh, on Zoom calls when you have your camera off, and at the line in the grocery if you need to. So yeah, does anybody have any comments, questions, anything they want to ask me?
Feel free to raise your hand or just start speaking. It looks like we have no comments.
Oh, okay.
Appreciate you sharing that technique.
Yes.
I'm sure there's a zillion techniques out there to regulate.
Yes, I like this one because it actually changes the physiology, literally because you're contacting acupuncture or acupressure points and points that are literally connected to the brain.
Hmm.
Yep. And same with the breathing technique that you did when we first with the meditation. That's a great one too.
Yeah, there's so many ways. I got introduced to one as well where you literally touch your thumb with your middle finger and you present a moment when you were blissed out. It was one of your highlight real moments of your life. For me, it was when my daughter was born. And so you presence it, and so then it takes you out of whatever funk you're in, whatever dysregulation you're in, into a very appreciative, beautiful state. And so I've used that every once in a while. But there's so many techniques, so many, like literally I know quite a few as well.
Awesome.
But
Yes.
I've never seen the one that you've introduced us to. I do acupuncture and I am a believer of acupuncture and acupuncture points. It does do something. It does create relaxation for sure.
Great. Yes. Yeah, the whole point is just to get you out of a stress response. Yeah, because we can all use more tools in the toolbox.
Mhm.
hmm And hopefully that was a really easy one to do. And it's one that, many people like to teach children to help them. hmm
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully that helped with anyone who had a trigger in the last few days.
So, can you tell us about more of the work that you're involved with regulating people's nervous system. Also, I know you're in the chiropractic field. How does that all tie in helping your clients? And what are some of the things that you can equip us with, or maybe some insights that you've developed throughout the years of your practice?
Wow, that's a lot of questions all at once. Uh, yeah. So, yeah, I just love helping people come out of that that defense place. Because life happens, and then when we don't process it, it literally shows up in the body, in your posture, in your spine, actually. Your spine is like your history book of your whole entire life and everything that's ever happened to you. And so I had a mentor once say that the tone is in the bone. And it's true because I've touched so like thousands of people's spines, and some are very strong and flexible, and you can tell that that spine is one that is self-regulating and one that knows how to move about in life no matter what it's thrown at. And then I've felt spines that are very hard and brittle, and it's kind of interesting because it's like when I touch the person's spine, a lot of times their personality will match what I'm finding, right? Are they hard and brittle and like really just defensive, or and very like one way or the highway, or are they really like flexible and agreeable and like very easy to be around? And so I've I've worked with so many people and I've gotten to work with like Tony Robbins Platinum members. And what I really love about across the board is how everyone can shift out of this place of what they think they're supposed to be and into this place of more authentically relating, more authentic to themselves, more self-expressed, of their gifts and their talents, and basically living their life as the soul that they are really embodied. And so I just love watching and seeing that transformation of just kind of people coming out of their shell like this and then opening up and blossoming. It's such a beautiful thing to witness.
What's been one of the biggest tools that has helped you empower individuals to embrace their authenticity and release the fear, that heightened state of alert that we find ourselves in often unconsciously most of the time?
Yeah, great question. I would say the two techniques that I offer most heavily, I do like probably three or four, but the two that I use the most is the neuro-emotional technique, which is what we did today, which is like a soft, very mini version of that. It's NET is actually very comprehensive, kind of like if you've heard of neuro-linguistic programming. So if you put like neuro-linguistic programming and somatic exercises, like breathing exercises, and you put those together and they had a baby, that would be the neuro-emotional technique. And so it really goes, it digs much, much deeper. Like this, like I said, is just like a very surface way to quickly just come out of that triggered response and out of the stress response so that you can come back and connect back to your higher cortex. But the work that I do is like very, very deep. And so a lot of my clients will tell me that like a half an hour session of the NET is equivalent to like 10 years of therapy because we go
Wow.
deep, we go really deep and we go back to like where the body, because if you've ever heard of the book, The Body Keeps Score, uh, and I think there's another one, maybe The Body Keeps Count or one of the two. And and basically, yeah, your nervous system and your body hold the story and so we have this thing called emotional reality where, you know, all stories are true. Some of them actually happened. And so it's like our perception, right, of what we thought actually happened versus what really did happen. But that's real to us and it's real to our nervous system. So if we can go back and course correct where that may have happened, back to the earliest time possible, then it's kind of like taking the Jenga out of that, and then, like, everything all that branch that with Jenga was connected to, and all those times that you made a left turn instead of a right just kind of fall off, right? And it's like you get to create, like, a new branch and one that's much more healthy. And then I love, I do another technique, a non-force technique called network spinal analysis, and that literally it literally takes the body out of a fight or flight response and into a parasympathetic, relaxed and healing response. Because until your nervous system literally learns how to come out of fight or flight, all of your resources towards healing will literally go towards survival. So that's why a lot of people never really get the healing that they're looking for from a lot of modalities, is because they're still in that fight or flight mode and their body can't get out of it. And so that's the default mechanism, like I said, millions of years to keep you in survival. And so once you can get out of that fight or flight and your body can connect and release and turn the on and off switch, or the, yeah, on and off the vagus nerve, which is runs that sympathetic, parasympathetic, two lane or two parallel highway, one going this way, one going that way, and learns how to regulate between the two, then you can hear and then heal. Then you can really do the healing work and you can go deeper. I often tell my patients that um, I like to teach your body how to self-regulate and to find that calmness and that foundation before we add anything else to the
Mhm.
healing. And so I like to think of it as like a waitress that is already in the weeds and then a party of 10 comes through the door. So rather than give that waitress the party of 10, perhaps we're going to bring on another server that's going to help with what's happening and then that party of 10. So that's why I like to take things in steps, and I like to really meet people where they're at. And everybody's an individual. And so that's I really like to treat people that way. Yeah.
Seems like perspective has a lot to do with being in a state of all is well regulation. A lot of times I feel like our system is set up to keep us alive, to keep you said survival, keep us from dying, keep us from dangers. However, I think our survival mechanism is more entrenched in just keeping us in the status quo, keeping us in the same old, same old. Not necessarily that there's any dangers. It just perceives different change as a danger when in fact it has nothing to do with danger,
Correct.
right?
Yes. Yeah, you literally that's what we like to call. So let's say you want to have this great change in your life, right? And you're going and you're doing all the things and you consciously you're doing all the things, but somehow you keep sabotaging, right? You keep sabotaging. Well, probably because you had a belief a long time ago that anything that reminds you of this is dangerous. And you have no idea that you made that choice when you're like 5 years old. And so your system literally is not congruent with the choice that you're making. Even though you're making all these conscious choices, the subconscious is always going to win out every single time. Because it's like your conscious choice is maybe 5%. It's like the little grain of sand on the beach. And your subconscious, unconscious is like the big tsunami coming at that. So, so the way to get in and start to shift this with the most efficiently and effectively is literally to go into the places where you can start to shift your belief system. That's why people will record themselves in a healing, paragraph or little mini story about how they want their life, like right as they're going to sleep, and then right as they wake up, they're listening to that because their brain is in that alpha theta place, and they can accept the new suggestion, right? But and a lot of times it's all about getting congruent neurologically with what it is that you're trying to create. And so that's one of the biggest things that I love to work with clients is like how to be congruent, like being okay with being successful. Okay with making $1 million. Like it's amazing what the nervous system and the files that you have will show up that yeah, like somewhere along the line you associated with being a millionaire as someone who doesn't treat people very well. And so you made a decision that you're not going to treat people like that. And but you associated people treating people awfully with someone who's a millionaire, even though there's like a million different people and examples that there's conscious millionaires in the world. So that's one of the ways to get congruent. NLP is another one. Hmm.
Yeah, neuro-linguistic programming is phenomenal.
Hmm.
If we a lot of times we're speaking, I mean, words are powerful. We're casting spells. We're literally speaking our reality into existence by the words. And these words are these thoughts. And so our thoughts are creating our reality. Basically, I posted something today that our experience is our vibe, and our vibe is our experience of the world and ourselves. And it's so true. Both are tied literally like this. There is no distinction. So if we think something sucks and our life sucks, then we're really saying that we suck. Or if we're saying that I don't like this experience, then we're really never gonna like this experience because that's what we're putting out there. But what if we create a change in our language and our thoughts and our being, our vibe, and we say, I really appreciate this, or I so love this, then what is our experience gonna be, right? We can only experience what we are, and everything's a mirror, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. Everything is a mirror. And the good thing is that you can shift that mirror too.
Right.
Uh, We have these amazing tools. That's the one thing that I've learned. Um, I've done so much self-help, right? So much along the lines of growth. And I have to tell you that for me, that the biggest changes have always been when I go through the subconscious and reprogram that to get that on board with what it is I'm actually wanting to do and what I want to create. Because it's like those are um, pretty ingrained, laid down train tracks, if you will, of belief systems that happened when I was a child. And so to pull out those weeds with all the deep roots. It's like, without, the programming, it's like pulling out the weed, but the roots are still there, and so it still grows back. Even so, the idea is to pull out the weed and all the root system, so that it's no longer taking over the soil, and you can actually plant a new seed in the garden, and the weed and the won't grow back and won't start stealing from that. So it's the same thing in our own nervous system.
Yeah, I so appreciate our discussion that we had that one time when we were comparing notes, and I said, "Oh my God, that's what I was trained in." We have at our base a root, and that root creates programs, and that program creates context, both mental, emotional, spiritual, and then the ultimate result is when we keep all this inside, it has to manifest in a physical form sometimes, or mental distress, emotional distress. And so it is, that's how we're simply expressed, I feel. And that's a really good way to look at ourselves. Where's this coming from?
Where's this coming from?
You have those tools. I have those tools. There's so many people out there with tools to help us become aware. And this is a place to create awareness, really.
It's a beautiful thing. I love it. I've been doing it for going on 7 years now for the NET, and over 20 plus years with the network chiropractic. So um, I wouldn't keep doing it if it didn't work. It's really
How many
great.
people you've helped? Can you give us an example of someone that, no names, but just someone that you took through a particular thing that, they were able to see a night and day transformation in their lives?
Yes. Um, it was one of those beginner's luck kind of stories where I was just starting out learning NET for the first time, and I had a dear friend, and she was like, I want you to do this, and we set up a trade, and I'm like, okay. And so bless her heart, she kind of told me a secret, and she's okay with it because she's written me a testimonial about it, so I won't say her name. But she had been smoking literally since like the age of like a teenager, like early teenage years. And she was in her mid 30s at the time. And she really wanted to have a child, and so she didn't want to be smoking anymore. And so we literally did an NET session, and we went back to like basically when she was like 14 years old. And something in her family had happened that was very traumatic. And so for her, smoking, she associated smoking with being able to deal with the stress of what happened. And so whenever she'd get stressed, she would smoke. And so she made that connection. And when we went back into that age of 14 and found out, what that was, and pulled the plug on that, her desire to smoke went away right after that session. Like she literally been chain smoking since she was like a teenager in her mid 30s, early mid 30s. And that day, that after that session, she never touched another cigarette again. I was it was like a it was she was my miracle, client and patient, which just absolutely had me, everything was sealed. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm totally gonna keep doing this technique because it really works. Yeah. I mean, granted, like she had been doing a lot of work, and I'm sure that, we can't say that, oh, you'll quit smoking in one session. That's not really true. So, I don't want to put up that expectation. Obviously she was doing a lot of work beforehand, and she was just really ready, and it just presented itself, and then bam, and then the results spoke for themselves, and I was amazed.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, so let's say what are some of the things that you can help people with? Let's say is there a limitation with the things that you offer, or is the book pretty much open?
It's I would say for the most part, it's pretty open. A lot of times, because I'm a chiropractor, so NET has two ways that you can two different avenues, if you will, that you can go and utilize the NET. And so one of them is using like a statement like, I'm okay with making lots of money. Okay. And so you would help a person get congruent with that. And another way that I actually find even more beneficial like I said, probably because I'm a chiropractor, and so I'm more of the body practitioner versus a mind entry practitioner. I can do both because I am a body practitioner. Is that the body usually is the one, if you let the body lead the way and not the mind, I feel like a lot of the things that the person wants to take care of will usually be taken care of by addressing the body, because that's what the nervous system and the body is ready to work on and ready to release. And so I feel like you kind of get the quote unquote the most bang for your buck when I enter into the body. Like, for example, I had someone today where they had all these different statements that they wanted to utilize, and we wrote all three statements down, but then they had something going on with the body. And so we're like, well, I said, well, since that's up right now, do you want to go into utilizing that part of your body? And this person said yes. And of course, we went into the body, and all of those three statements that this person wanted to get congruent with actually applied to the body. And so instead of having to do three separate different sessions, we got everything taken care of in one. So I thought that was pretty neat. And I find that to be the case most often with the work that I do. And obviously it might have to do with the fact of my resonance and my vibration is that I'm going to be able to take care of that more so because that's what I do and what I offer, and that's my expertise. So I'm gonna probably pull and attract that kind of situation into my existence or experience.
So you said the body. So how does that work as a chiropractor? I haven't seen a chiropractor in probably over 20 years.
Yep.
So and I know you have a more of a holistic approach. So I'm imagining I can't even it might be apples and oranges. Can you walk us through how that looks?
Sure. So I usually have someone, if they have like something that's really been bothering them, like their jaw, for example, or like a knee or their arm, then I'll just have them touch the arm. And I do we do muscle testing. And so we'll just ask the body by touching that place and then muscle testing them. And then have them, we'll hold, I will hold, or they will hold one of the places, and then someone will hold the other place, like the head, so that we'll connect the body and this part of the head together. And literally, if they're the same, whether it's weak or strong, then the body is basically congruent. But if one is weak and one is strong, or vice versa, then we say that there's a stressor that the body is expressing, and then we'll go into that. And so we usually go into all these different categories, because you asked me what are the categories that you can go into. And so we usually start off with like, we'll say something like, well, there's two things in life, there's money and love, right? And so we'll go into all the material world things like money, career, job, finance, energy, time, personal space. And if nothing is muscle testing out for that, then we'll go into love. Everyone you've ever loved and everyone who's ever loved you. And if for some odd reason that doesn't work, then we always go back to like whatever it is that's falling on that person themselves. And that's usually the role that this person is playing. Uh, and this could be so many different things. So the role could be the person as whoever they are in the family, whoever they are in a relationship, whoever they are in a job. And so we just muscle test different categories to figure out what that is. And then from there, uh, we find what point here and here, uh, from if that makes the person weak, then we go and find which one makes them strong. And so all of these different points are connected to all those different elements, right? The fire, the earth, the water, the metal, and the wood. And so, and even here, which is the governing vessel and the conception vessel, which is also located here. So, it's a lot of knowledge of the body that I have. And then each of these points have the whole index. So we can basically muscle test a whole index of the emotions that are connected to those points based on the color of the elements and or the organ itself. And then we find what that is because the person will test. And then we put those things together. We basically just ask the body all these different questions and we put all of the information together. And a lot of times the person is then able to recall like a specific memory, especially they're like, okay, we'll index even to like, what is the original, how old were you when the original event happened? Okay. And so from conception to the age they are now. And the body will literally tell you. And again, this isn't exact science. So we'll always say like, give or take 2 years because again, it's emotional reality and now actual timeline reality. Yeah.
Hmm. Wow, so interesting.
Yeah.
So we have about 9 minutes. I'd like to
Okay.
open it up again for discussion. If there's any comments, any questions, this would be the time to speak up. You can either raise your hand or just unmute yourself and ask away. The floor is yours. Josh, is everyone able to unmute themselves? Oh, it looks like we have a question here. Thomas, is there any utility of craniosacral therapy in this arena?
Uh, oh, that's a good question. So the work that I do, the network spinal analysis, is actually rooted in craniosacral and and SOT, which is sacral occipital technique, and many other techniques. But yes, there is an element of that.
For those of us that don't have a clue what craniosacral or what you just mentioned means, how does that work? Just, broad overview.
Broader review, really simple. Your occiput and your sacrum are the two breath centers of your body. They like as if they're moving, they literally pump the cerebral spinal fluid up and down your spine. So if one is stuck, it stops that cerebral spinal fluid from like really pumping up and down. So it's kind of like getting a kink in your straw and you're trying to blow it up. And so you have when you release one, the other one releases. And then that mechanism of that pump of the cerebral spinal fluid, which is what lubricates everything in your spinal column, is now reinstated.
So it sounds to me like you're the body mechanic where you create flow. So you're able to detect, wait, there's a blockage here, there's no flow here. Let's go
Yes.
ahead and get this moving over here so that everything is flowing. Am I correct?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, because if you got a blockage in your spine, you have a blockage in your life. It's a really good metaphor. So if you unblock what's in your spine, you'll start to unblock what's in your life.
And really, it has applications, like you just said, everywhere, not just body, because the body is simply the manifestation of
Yes.
the emotional, the mental, the spiritual.
Yep. Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, does anybody have any questions?
Just unmute yourself, ask away, or you can type a question in the comment section. She said the chat section.
Can you repeat the name of it's the spinal
Oh,
can you
network spinal analysis.
network spinal analysis? I think I had a girl practice on me in Costa Rica this year, which was really cool because I like fell asleep
Yes.
and then it felt really powerful. It was really healing.
Yes, that's a good sign when you fall asleep. That means you turned off the fight or flight and just went,
Mm,
and that's when you heal is when you're sleeping. So that's great.
cool. Is there like a network for this kind of work or what's the website to learn more about it?
You can Google network spinal analysis. I don't know what the new website is. I think they change it all the time. So unfortunately, I haven't really caught up. I haven't been keeping up with them as much as I do the NET, the neuroemotional technique. But that one is netmindbody.com.
Net Mind Body.
Netmindbody.com. Yes.
Cool.
And there's all
Thanks.
kinds of research there too. Mhm.
I went ahead and posted both websites on the chat.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, it used to be like Wise World Seminars, and I don't know if it's that anymore for the network spinal analysis.
Okay. Any more questions, comments? This would be the space, even if it's off topic. Really, the intention of this space is for expression. If there's something that's weighing and you simply want to be heard, this is a place of non-judgment where expression is celebrated. So feel free to be vulnerable. We're here to support, to guide as best as we can. And our collective intention is healing. And I really feel like collectively we are the medicine for each other because we're here for a reason. We're here because we want personal self-development, and that is powerful. We want to heal. So we have about 4 minutes. Any more expressions?
Right when you said the collective intention of healing and all that stuff, the fire that's in front of me started crackling, and it hasn't for like the last 30 minutes. So whatever you're saying and the energy that you're putting out is really powerful for healing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's our intent.
Awesome.
I feel like we are uplifted when we come into when we gather together. It's just powerful. It's like we uplift each other with our presence alone because we're here wanting to improve. And the intention that I hold here is that there's no way to be. This is a space that's safe where we can just collectively and individually like just love on each other and on ourselves and see that there's nothing wrong. There's no way to be. But yet we have beautiful people like Dr. Anna that is here giving us some awareness, like many of the other guest speakers, so that we can do some introspection and say, well, I accept where I'm at, but maybe I could do something different and experience life a little bit more aligned with more congruency. So if nobody else has any questions, we'll give it one more second here. Feel free to ask away, speak up. And we'll go ahead and conclude. I have a closing meditation, but Dr. Anna, do you have any last words? Anything that you want to leave us with as like a point that is a must point to carry on after this call that will equip us with more awareness and techniques so that we can self-regulate ourselves?
Absolutely. So again, if you want to go to netmindbody.com, at the very top, you can push the fast technique. So if you want to remember really quickly what I showed you how to do today, my intention really is to help give a tool that can help create unity. Because right now, I feel like what we really need in this country and across the world is more harmony and unity, and of course, that starts with ourselves, right? And then we can source that out to others with loving compassion. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you so much for taking time out of your busy day to give us a little bit of awareness and help us get to a state of all is well and calm and really, be mindful when we're out of whack, off kilter, where we can bring ourselves back into a calm, peaceful state. So thank you, Anna, for your words of wisdom and insights. I invite everyone, if you're in a safe place, obviously if you're driving, do not close your eyes. But if you're in a safe space, I invite you to close your eyes for a second here. We'll guide you on a very short meditation. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, breathe in suffering, and hold it. Release the breath and release loving kindness to yourself, to everyone on the call, to all your friends and family, co-workers, acquaintances, the whole world. Open your eyes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you guys. I hope that you're as uplifted as I am. Appreciate you guys so much for the energy you bring to these calls. Appreciate you. Anna, thank you for enlightening us and for the technique that you shared with us, the fast technique. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It seems so simple. And we posted the website also on the chat so that you can look at the fast technique. I also have a printout, a handout that she gave me. So if you have any questions after the call, just go ahead and direct message me on Facebook at the Healing Conversations group page, and I'll be more than happy to send you the handout. Also, if people want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you? Is there a better way?
Sure. I'll just type in my email here. You can email me. And you could also find me on Facebook at Desert Colibri, Colibri, chiropractic. So Desert Colibri Chiropractic, or you can find me on Instagram at Anna, ANNA, Stid, STID. And then feel free to reach out if you have any questions. You can email me at stidanna@gmail.com.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and post that as well here. I think I have that. Okay, perfect.
Thank you so much, Noe.
Thank
It's
you
so
so
good.
much.
So great to be a part of your healing conversations.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you.
You too.
All right,
Bye.
everyone. Have a good night.